Hi everyone, welcome back to the Coding and Analysis YouTube channel. And in the previous video, I ran the cross-validation and full training for the NFL Fantasy Football 2025 PPR. And so the MAE is from the cross-validation. So it's 31 points off. Our receiver tight end cross-validation MAE is 27. So this is the for the unseen data, 27.44. And then the cross validation MAE for the quarterbacks is a 60.11. And then we did the cross validation. So we just have to think of it as cross validation is a reliable estimate of model performance. And the final full training is the best possible model for real predictions. So when we do the final full training, we train the model on all the available data, 100%, no holdouts. So we're doing this for like deployment or prediction. We're doing it the most, I guess, the best possible, using the best possible model for real prediction. So we want to see the most overly optimistic data that we can, compared to the cross validation would be a reliable estimate. So cross validation reliable, final full training is best possible model for real predictions. And so cross validation reliable performance estimate, full training only is maximizes our training data. So, in your mind, just think of it as cross validation it's an accurate evaluation, and a full train is the best model possible for the results. And then another thing that I wanted to talk about was the when we do the random forest regressor, I'm doing the abbreviations with RF dot fit. So the dot fit is a method, dot predict is a method, and compared to the cross val predict. So the cross val predict is not a method but an external function that takes the model as the input. So it's a function in the sklearn.model underscore selection, and it's not a method. So we just have to remember that when you put a period right here, dot fit, so dot fit method, dot predict method, and then when we're doing the cross val predict, we're passing a machine learning model instance with our like random forest regressor and cross validation as one of the arguments in the function. So these are the arguments in the function. This is the method of the random forest regressor model, and then these are the parameters inside the method. So when we run this is really the exact same results as cross validation that I did earlier, and we get the same performance metrics right here. And then when we do the chart, Seaborn chart, we really get the same. It's really all the same thing with the cross validation. But then when we do the full training, so we're saying, with the data split full train, we want the full train only, and we're calculating the metrics, the residuals, the top 5 outliers. We're getting our color palette, the Python dictionary list, so the key value pairs, and then the seaborn.scatter plot. So I guess you can say the scatter plot, these are the parameters inside the scatter plot. And then we're getting the diagonal, and then we're getting the top 5 outliers. And then once we see here, the R squared is going to be a lot significant improvement, and the MAE difference is going to be significant improvement compared to the cross-validation, because we're getting the best possible model for our real predictions, and we're maximizing the training data based on the full trained model. So we can see here there's not much of a difference right here. You can see that running backs are orange, quarterbacks are green, wide receivers, tight ends are blue, and there's not much of a discrepancy in the values. We have Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow, but they're not as far off as the cross validations. And then when we look at the predictions, valuation difference, so we're getting the predicted fantasy points minus the CBS model. So our cross validation and the full training will be being subtracted, and then we're showing the data splits of these. So when we see the CBS model right here, and then we can see our model, and then we're see what the data split of it. So you can see it's all mostly cross validation. Cross validation, except for the Daniel Jones, which our cross validation had 257 points, and then the full training had 149 points. And that's basically because we have him as the projected role as a starter, compared to this is CBS model is really considering him as a backup, while we're considering him as a starter. Well, Anthony Richardson's probably going to have this hybrid role where he's not going to play every snap, but just comes in and the running plays or specific plays. And then we look at the top 10 undervalued players. We have the cross-val. They're all cross-val. And we see the differences. And so when we think of the cross-val, we're just trying to get a reliable estimate. So cross-val, reliable estimate, final full training, best possible model for the real predictions that we're trying to achieve. So let's look at the results. Oh, one thing I want to look at was the Keenan Allen data. So 2020 PPR had 278 points, and then the 2024 he had 185, and the CBS model has 131. So I wanted to go in and look at because the random forest regressor model and the cross validation, they both had him as performing significantly better than that 131. So let's do a quick search for Keenan Allen. So it's 131, the CBS model. Our cross-validation reliable estimate is 246, and the final model predictions is 164. So not too off compared to the 131 for the final model predictions. And I would say this is more accurate, because he's not even on a team yet. I don't know, he might even retire, so I might have to come back and say, yeah, this will go to 0, but most likely he'll get picked up, put on a team, and I can definitely see 150, 164 for Keenan Allen, and so only 33 different for the residual. So I'm fine with the 164 for our final, for our full training final model. And then if we want to look at the other results, so in this one we have the quarterbacks first. So you can see here the full training, it's kind of not as high as these. For sure, it's closer to, it's like 20 points off, maybe. Looks like it's around 20 points off for some of them. Is it Baker Mayfield? The full training has him 1 point higher than the CBS model, which is interesting. It's just, you could spend a lot of time just looking at this data and looking at the residuals, and especially if you're preparing for a fantasy football draft coming up. So the Lamar Jackson 450 CBS model, our full training is 431. Now I would, that's kind of seems a little high too. These all, if it's close to 400, probably for the top quarterbacks, I could probably see close to 400 for the top quarterbacks in the tiers. And then Jaden Daniels, if he could get the 396 where he's being drafted, that would probably be a great pickup, because you wouldn't have to pick him up in the second or third rounds, maybe in the fourth or fifth round, possibly. But it all just kind of depends. And then Aaron Rodgers 294. So the residuals, his residual wasn't very much at all. 24 points, 2.6 points. Russell Wilson 290, 44 points, 11 points for the residual. And Anthony Richardson, this shows the CrossValidation has him considered more of a backup, and the full training is more, it's giving him more optimistic, but not as optimistic as the CBS model. So 59 points off for that, even though we do have him listed as a backup. So that's interesting. So we have Cam Ward. That's not too far off. 262. That's probably good. Those two are probably good estimates for Cam Ward, especially since he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Titans. Tyler Show, yeah, probably 200. That seems reasonable. 272. That was one weird thing about the CrossValidation, is they gave Tyler Show so much. So even though there was no stats involved, they still gave him 272, which I guess with the quarterbacks, with the rookie quarterbacks without stats, the projected role was, I think, like 60 or 50% of the featured importance for the quarterback, so that played a large role, probably in that 272. So the 233 off, that's not too bad. I want to see Daniel Jones for so Anthony Richardson. I guess the CrossValidation has him more of a backup. Daniel Jones more of the starter, and then in the full training kind of reverts back to Anthony Richardson. So really, we kind of just don't really know what's going to happen for the Colts. So, but it's fun to see how the full training model reverts back to Anthony Richardson, even though I put him as a 1 for as a backup, as him listed as a 1. I want to go back and look at the projected role was 50%, then touchdown passes 13%, rush yards 9%. If we go look at the running backs, around 300 for the top running backs, which is reasonable. Not sure why the CBS model, they just stuck 316 for these. But I think our full training is more reasonable. I think it's better than the cross validation as well. And then see Derrick Henry. That seems reasonable. Alvin Kamara. I don't know. It might be 250. Could be. It just depends how healthy he can stay. 240, 250 maybe. Kyron Williams, 270. That's all. That's really pretty accurate for all of them. CBS model, the cross validation, and full training doesn't have much difference for Josh and for Kyron Williams and for James Conner and for Brees Hall. So that's good. That's Chase Brown, not much of a difference. Kenneth Walker, that's 63 points off the cross validation. And the full training still has him below the CBS model. And then the Jonathan Taylor, and that's not far off too as well. But yeah, he might be. That's interesting because he might be going off in like the second and third round. So I'm not sure if he's warranted worth going in the second and third rounds, but compared to the other players like Brees Hall, James Conner, but he doesn't really have any competition in the backup, so I think that's why it goes so high because the Colts backups running backs they're not really. He's gonna get a full load, so I could probably really see him scoring higher than this, maybe getting closer to 250. Maybe more than that, but even though all these are within range, I don't know. I'll have to look at his prior stats. Look at his prior stats in the Jupyter Notebook, and then Chuba Hubbard. That's not too far off. So it's interesting to see some of the players that aren't too far off, and then some of the players that have the more variables. You might have the Najee Harris. That 160 might be, and 150 might be because he did get injured with the fireworks, but we'll see how that plays out. And then Charbonnet, and then let's look at a rookie one, Rachel Tootin. So that's not far off. 140, 133. Tyrone Tracy, but he's not a rookie. That was a rookie from last year. Dylan Sampson, so that's not too far off. All the models. Jaden Blue. The CBS model has him as a more optimistic compared to the other two models. Let me see here. I wanted to see Ashton, where he's at. So RJ Harvey, so 172. That seems reasonable. 172 for a full training model. Marion Hampton, 165. That looks good. Oh yeah, here we go. Ashton Gianti. I think I was calling him Giannetti. Whoops, I think it's Gianti. Sorry about that. So 229. So 246. That's probably optimistic. And then, which, he gets a lot of touches, but just don't know how he's really going to do as a rookie running back. But, around 200 to 229 probably seems reasonable. 230 within reason. And the 250 would be the most optimistic for him. Probably don't see him scoring more than that, but you never know. And then the Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors. So he's probably gonna be first or second pick in the draft. And Malik Neighbors will probably go in the second round. I don't know. He might. It'll be interesting to see if he goes. Because CD Wan, he'll probably go in the first round. And Malik Neighbors, he's projected to be scoring. So the CBS model and our full training has him scoring more than CD Lamb and more than Puka. So I think I've seen CD Lamb and Puka go in the first round. So, but then I guess his quarterback, Russell Wilson, it kind of just depends on him. But, it's probably better than the guys that were thrown to him last year. So Malik Neighbors, it'll be interesting to see if he's going in the first round. At best, second round for Malik Neighbors. Maybe we can see Chris Olave. That's not too far off with our models. That's all in pretty close agreement. David Njoku, pretty close agreement. Jaden and Reed, close agreement. And see McMillan. So that's a pretty close agreement as well on all the models. Loser Burden the third, so he's on Chicago, so that's pretty close agreement as well. And then Colston Loveland, so he's the tight end. So our models are projecting him scoring more than CBS model, at least by some 20 points, 12 points. So that's about it for this. Michael Mayer, so he's like sort of the backup. Now I could definitely see him scoring 100, at least 88 for Michael Mayer. They need an extra tight end to throw to, because I think they could have 2 tight end sets for the Las Vegas Raiders. So we looked at Keenan Allen, and I think 160 would probably be reasonable. And if I wanted to put in what's the guy I wanted to put in? Oh well, I forgot. I'll do that I'll do that next video. I'll find out the name of the player I was thinking of. But thanks for watching, and then the next video I'll do that, and I'll get into doing a random forest regression model run using XGBoost. So I'll do that in the next videos. So thanks for watching. Bye now.